I absolutely love the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. These were some of my favorite gaming systems whenever I was a kid growing up. I played the hell out of both of these, and I have so many fond memories of games on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. And I also love the Nintendo Switch, and in today's video I'm going to share with you 4 games that you can download from the Nintendo Switch eShop for cheap that will remind you of games straight from the Game Boy and Game Boy Color era. So if you're a fan of retro games and you're a fan of the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, strap in while I take you through a journey of retro goodness on the Switch eShop. If you like games that are easy to learn but difficult to master and so addicting that you'll find yourself saying just one more time, then look no further than Downwell. Downwell was released on the Nintendo Switch on January 31st, 2019, and at the time of this recording it is only $2.99 on the Nintendo Switch eShop. In Downwell, you play as a little guy wearing gun boots, that's right, gun boots, as he makes his way down a mysterious and very dangerous well looking for treasure. Downwell is broken up into 4 different areas, each with 3 levels and a final boss fight at the end. Every time you play, the game is procedurally generated so that no 2 runs will be exactly the same, and the goal of each level is to simply make it to the very bottom. Within each level you will descend from top to bottom, avoiding obstacles, killing enemies, gathering gems, finding guns, and buying stuff from the shop. The controls are very simple. You move the control stick or D-pad, and the jump button is also the shoot button because remember, you have gun boots. After you jump, you press the jump button a second time to shoot your gun boots, and this serves as a way to slow down your descent as well as attack enemies and bust blocks. Some enemies can be killed by landing on them, and when your gun boots run out of ammo, you have to either land on a surface or bounce off of an enemy to recharge them. When you start getting good at the game, you can pull off combos by descending and killing enemies without touching the ground by alternating between shooting and bouncing, and when you pull this off it is very satisfying. There are several different guns to find, such as a machine gun, shotgun, triple gun, and puncher. Each gun has its own level of power, feel, ammo, and descent speed, which leaves them all feeling unique. You will find shops where you can increase your health or ammo capacity as well as heal. At the end of each level you can select an upgrade to make you stronger, such as a drone, a balloon to make you descend faster, a laser sight, and many more. You also gain experience at the end of each level, which slowly unlocks new color palettes to swap to, as well as new gameplay styles. There are over 30 different color palettes to unlock to change how the game looks, and they are all different from one another, such as G-Boy, V-Boy, which stands for Game Boy and Virtual Boy obviously, Aqua, and Pastel. The different styles that you can unlock change the gameplay up just a bit to make it easier in some cases. For example, the first style, called Levitate, slows your descent speed, whereas the Boulder style makes you fall faster, but you start with 6 health instead of 4. Each area has its own theme and music, and there are plenty of enemy varieties. You can also play Downwell in vertical mode, which is really cool to do, especially if you have the flip grip accessory. It makes playing in vertical mode an absolute blast, and is actually my preferred way to play when I'm not recording gameplay footage. Downwell is a simple yet challenging and highly addicting game that I don't think anybody should pass up on the Switch eShop, especially for $2.99. If you're looking for something bursting with the nostalgic feel of gaming from the older days, then look no further than the Adventures of Elena Temple Definitive Edition, which released on the Nintendo Switch on December 24th, 2019, and at the time of this recording you can snag that game for $4.99 on the Switch eShop. Elena Temple is an old school 2D puzzle platformer with a very simple and nostalgic aesthetic. In Elena Temple you get to choose from one of 7 virtual machines, which are sort of lookalikes to real-world counterparts such as the NS Boss PC, the Maple, the Sum Toy Advance, and of course the one I played the most, the Sum Toy, which basically looks like the Game Boy. You can swap between these virtual machines on the fly and zoom in and out on them if you don't want to see the virtual background room. Each machine has its own style and color palettes to sort of match its real-world counterpart. This is a really cool touch and helps to capture that nostalgic feel. In the game itself, you have 3 dungeons to choose from: the Chalice of the Gods, the Golden Spider, and the Orb of Life. In each dungeon, your goal is to escape, and each dungeon has its own feel and mechanics. Each dungeon is packed with rooms to explore, obstacles to avoid, enemies to kill or avoid, treasures to find, and many puzzles to solve. So you are tasked with exploring the dungeon, finding as much treasure as possible, finding the escape, and meeting the escape goal. For example, in the Chalice of the Gods, there are 120 coins and 8 diamonds to collect. When you find the exit, you have to have all 8 diamonds to exit. Eventually you find a room in the dungeon that is locked until you have 99 coins, and in that room is one of the 8 diamonds you need to escape that particular dungeon. So the game is designed to force you to explore the dungeon, but the cool thing is that you can explore it freely in almost any direction you want. These dungeons are not linear designed. The controls are very simple. As you move with the D-pad, you have a jump button and a shoot button. Your gun can hold 2 bullets, and you can use it to kill enemies, press buttons, shoot down barriers, and break containers for coins. There are a ton of secrets and Easter eggs spread across the 3 dungeons, and there are in-game achievements as well. As you beat dungeons, you unlock modifiers that can change the experience, such as a double jump and infinite ammo. Both the art and music are simple, nostalgic, and fun, and really capture that old school feel. The game is challenging, but not in a frustrating way. I finished the first dungeon in about an hour and was still missing about 15 coins. Elena Temple is a fun, old school, nostalgic experience that I could totally see being on the Game Boy. And for the low price of $4.99, I cannot recommend this game enough. You will not regret it. It was made by a solo indie game developer, and I feel like he deserves some recognition and some praise. So I encourage you to go out there and purchase the game so that we can support this small indie game developer. Out of all the games in today's video, I think Awesome P is probably the game that's the most faithful to the Game Boy as far as representing the platform and what it looks and feels like. Awesome P was released on the Nintendo Switch eShop on May 1st, 2019, and at the time of this recording you can snatch up Awesome P for $5.99, and there's a free demo available if you want to download that and check out the game before you purchase it. Awesome P is a challenging retro 2D platformer that is clearly inspired by games from the Game Boy era. You simply move, jump, and double jump your way through 30 challenging levels with the goal of making it to the end of the level. Along the way, you will dodge enemies and many traps while also trying to collect coins and diamonds. Each level has a certain number of coins and diamonds to collect in one go, and you are also timed. So there is some replayability in each level as you attempt to collect all the coins, diamonds, and beat the level in the fastest time possible. Awesome P just oozes with retro Game Boy flavor from the color palette, sprites, gameplay, and fantastic music. Seriously, the music in Awesome P is great. Let's have a quick listen. Now I will tell you, Awesome P is a very challenging game. But as soon as you die, you immediately restart the level. There are no checkpoints. If you die, you restart the level from the beginning, which that can be frustrating at times, especially on longer levels. But it's all about repetition, just like most old school retro games are. You just have to learn the levels and learn the patterns of the enemies. And before you know it, you'll have those levels mastered and you'll just breeze through them. If you are a fan of the Game Boy or retro games in general, then I cannot recommend Awesome P enough, especially if you are a fan of challenging little 2D platformers. And seriously though, Awesome P is a great deal for $5.99 on the Switch eShop. As me personally, I've already gotten about 2 solid hours out of Awesome P, and I'm only about 2/3 of the way through the game. So I feel like I've got my money's worth, and I hope you do too if you pick the game up. Do you like cats? Do you like mechs? Do you like Metroidvanias? Then how about a Metroidvania where you play as a cat piloting a mech? Gato Roboto is that and so much more. Gato Roboto was released on the Nintendo Switch eShop on May 30th, 2019, and at the time of this recording you can snatch up this game for $7.99, and let me tell you something, it's worth it. In Gato Roboto, you are the cat of a captain that crashes his ship in a space outpost and is stuck, so he sends you off to save him. You jump in a mech and explore the space station in classic Metroidvania style as you find health upgrades, new weapons, suit upgrades, and fight a variety of enemies and bosses. Just like any good Metroidvania, as you find upgrades you will be able to explore new areas to find more secrets. When outside of the mech as the cat, you move very fast and jump high, and you can climb walls, swim underwater, and fit into spaces that the mech is too big for. But the problem with being outside of the mech is that as the cat, one hit and you are dead, and you have no offensive capabilities. Jump in the mech and you will have a health bar and a gun. You quickly acquire a missile launcher and later find more new abilities and weapons. The space station itself is pretty decent size and fun to explore, with several areas to explore such as the landing site, the nexus, the aqueducts, the heater core, and the space station is also full of a nice variety of enemies and very challenging boss fights. As you explore, you will find new weapons and upgrades, as I stated before, as well as health upgrades, and these items called cartridges that unlock new color palettes to switch to in the game. The basic color palette is black and white and simple, but looks really good, and I could totally see it being a Game Boy game. For the color palette to be so simple, it sure does look really good, and the animations look great as well. The music and sound design is incredible. It creates a very nice environment that really matches the theme of this derelict space station you are exploring. Gato Roboto is a fun and unique little Metroidvania taken straight out of the Game Boy era. And if you are a fan of Metroidvania games, or retro games, or Game Boy games, then you need to check out Gato Roboto, especially for the price of $7.99, because in my opinion, it's worth every bit of that $7.99. So there you have it, 4 Game Boy-like games that you can get on the Nintendo Switch eShop for less than $10, and they are all great games that I cannot recommend enough. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure and hit that like button, because it really means a lot to me and it helps out the channel. Let me know in the comments down below if you've played any of these 4 games and what you think about them. Also, let me know in the comments down below if there are any other games on the Switch eShop that you think could be considered Game Boy games that I missed that I should check out for a possible future video. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button if you liked what you see, so that you can join the RetroWolf family and not miss future videos. As always, folks, keep playing games and having a good time, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.